and spine injuries. Let's get ready. Oh, Lord. How did we do on our test the other day?
92.
Beautiful. 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 I'm happy for y'all.
Is that you guys' mascot? Badass snake?
Yeah. This is our, it's EMS week,
I like it.
right? It's cool.
What's EMS week?
Like first responders and nurses, they
The
get
best
appreciation for a week.
Okay.
We get pizza,
Not a month.
balloons, woohoo, all that
Not
fun
yeah,
stuff.
not a month
Yeah.
ago, not a
For
month.
one weekend, I
Free
don't
lunch.
fucking rides.
That's the biggest
All
thing.
right.
Get free pizza
Right?
shit.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So on
Pizza.
Saturday if I'm there, I'll get pizza.
Well, I don't know
Wait,
when
is
EMS
this
this
week?
is last
When is
year's.
EMS? I don't know. I would look it up on my phone, but I can't.
Yeah, I would too, but.
All right, guys. So the nervous
Someone's
system is
father
a
ain't working
complex
hard enough,
network of nerve cells that enables all parts of the body to function, right? Brain, the spinal cord, that's what's all the sense of all the nerves, right? For us to do things, right? From breathing to talking to eyes blinking, our heart to pump, right? If we touch something hot, right, we move it really quickly. All part of the nervous system, right? The nervous system is well protected, right? And the brain is protected by the skull, right? It's nice and hard. Maybe some of y'all's, I don't know. The spinal cord is protected by the spinal canal, right? Despite this protection, serious injuries can damage the nervous system, right? All right, the anatomy and physiology. The nervous system is divided into two anatomic parts, the central nervous system and the peripheral. So when we think about central nervous system, that's gonna be your brain and spinal cord, and then the peripheral is everything out, right? That spreads all the little nerves outside of it. Here's a little diagram, right? So you have the brain, right? As you see, something is sent to the brain, it's called the sensory motor areas. Then it goes down to the spinal cord. It spreads to wherever the peripheral nerve is, right? And then it does the movements, right? All right, focusing on the central nervous system. So again, like I said, it's gonna be the brain and the spinal cord. The brain controls the body, and it is the center of consciousness. Maybe some of you have it, I don't know. Some of your teenage brains don't have a conscience right now. The brain is divided into three major areas. So you have the cerebrum, right, which is the main part of your brain, the cerebellum, and the brainstem. This brainstem is going to be in the back right here. Here we go. So again, like I said, the cerebrum, this beautiful gray matter looking thing, the cerebellum, right, and the brainstem. Cerebrum, right, is going to control a wide variety of activities, including most voluntary motor function and conscious thought. Contains about 75% of the brain's total volume, and it divides into two hemispheres with 4 lobes, right? So let's say the left side is going to be controlling everything on the right side of the body. The right side is going to control the left side of the body, right? The cerebellum, think about it like this, cerebellum, aka cerebalance, because that's going to coordinate balance and body movements. The brainstem controls most functions necessary for life, so like your breathing, your heart rate, everything that's involuntary. It is best protected part of the central nervous system because it sits right back in here. Now into our spinal cord, made up of fibers that extend from the brain's nerve cells, right? From all the way at the top, from the foramen all the way down to your tailbone, right? That's your spinal cord. There's different categories, so we'll get into that in a few. It carries messages between the brain and the body via gray and white matter of the spinal cord. So that's like your highway, right? Your hand touches something, sends off a signal to the highway, gets to the main antenna, which is your brain, then it goes back down the highway and then back to your hand. So the protective covering. So the entire central nervous system is contained within a protective framework. The thick and bony structures of the skull and spinal canal withstand injury very well. But again, with trauma, it can get damaged. And we're gonna teach you on how to protect the head and the spinal cord if something happens. And then the CNS is further protected by the meninges. Meninges is basically like nice, soft, not like a rubbery, but it's like a fluid texture that's lubricated all around, and then it's like a cushion for the brain and the spinal cord. So back to the meninges. So you have the outer layer, which is called the dura mater. It's tough, fibrous layer that forms a sac to contain the central nervous system. And then you have your inner two layers, which are the arachnoid matter and the pia mater. And those contain blood vessels. And the blood vessels that's what's going to nourish the brain and the spinal cord. Because again, the brain needs blood, oxygen, and another important thing that the brain needs is sugar or glucose. Your brain lives off of sugar. So don't let them dietitians tell you that you got to stay off of the sugar. Your brain needs it, all right? So this is what it looks like. So if we're looking at the outer part, right, that's your skin, right, the top of your head. Then you have the fascia, the muscle, and then we get into that skull, right? Right below the skull, we have the dura mater, right? That's the first meninge. Under it's going to be the arachnoids. The arachnoids, so just by the name, think about like spider webs, right? If you look in a picture of an x-ray or a CT scan or an MRI, they look like spider webs, and the AKA the arachnoid kind of sounds like a spider, so just kind of remember it like that. And right below, you have cerebral spinal fluid, just covering the whole brain, right? Because your brain is floating around in your skull. And then you have blood vessels and the pia mater. Oh my God. So, the cerebral spinal fluid, or AKA CSF.